Men of the Mississippi, Chapter 2. One small turtle, two big boys. The turtle eggs bulged in the bowl of their sandy nest. Each egg was a home, no longer but a person, but a prison. And each prisoner, pushing and banging with his nose, was battering down his walls. It was each turtle for himself in a dash for freedom. Wide eggs burst apart, wet walls stretched, and were ripped apart under clawing feet. Freed but feeble, turtles like animated coins scrambled upward, tearing other hatching eggs, trampling unknown brothers and sisters in sandy darkness. Thus the buried treasure came alive. Fat, round, lumpy coins edged up slowly, spilling out of the sand, and wobbled downhill on flabby new feet towards water. The old crow usually kept track of the sandy point as he sat on his pine lookout. Of late, though, he had helped rear his own troublesome family. Among most bird tribes, the tiresome nestling season does finally end, and wobbly young ones learn to fly and look out for themselves. Then old birds have time to fiddle with their feathers and make themselves neat again. Crows, however, get little rest. Their youngs grow huge and flying strongly till still tag after tired parents for weeks or an end. Now this weary crow was in quite a dither. In the midst of neighborly conversation, a ball of black feathers barged through the scenery, knocking down leaves. The old crow could not forget. Like a turtle, alas, he knew his own child. It clutched the limb he sat on, it edged up on his elbow, a fluffy, wide-open valve of shrieking hunger. So the worried parent tore off through the hemlocks to find something quickly. Beetles? Yes, but oh, the endless trips, hauling enough for them. That frog down there, it might last a choked moment, but no, it jumped. Then the crow did a mid-air handspring with his wings. He saw, far off on the sandy point, many dark dots moving, enough soft-shelled, meaty young turtles to stoke a yawing crow child into stuffed silence. Yet even as he started for the point, the old crow dived into safe timber. Ah, the pity of it. His child croaking hungrily. Out there, young turtle food for an entire family, but down below, a tall boy with a terrible thunder stick. What would a thunder stick be? It'd be another name for a gun or a rifle. The old crow was angry. He scuttled from thicket to thicket, eyes ablaze. He paced along tangled tree branches, pecking, peering. That two-legged thing! Bird-like in walking, but the crow's bitter enemy could not be seen. Was it safe to go now? Yet safe or not, those dots on the sand were disappearing. One by one they slid into the lake. The crow could stand it no longer. Sailing far out, he swung back to the point, swooping on the last diving turtle. In his haste, he banged into wet, foamy-edged sand. His beak scooped only water. This, however, was the next to last turtle. The bottom egg had hatched with the others, but this female snapper had a longer journey out of the nest. Battling upwards through the easy cast-off shells, she was tired. Now the crow saw her climbing out of the sand, blinking in sunlight. He hopped up, wheeled, and dived. A rifle barked, and the crow lost a tail feather and flew away fast. The rifle barked again, and a bullet skipped the small turtle like a chip over the water. The bullet had cut off her left rear leg. Yet the tiny creature scarcely knew about legs. The sudden pain was possibly just a part of coming into an odd new world. The baby turtle had been born with a certain know-how called instinct. For millions of past turtle generations, the rules on what to do and when were somehow recorded on the wires of her nerves. When the signals came, she obeyed them. At a soundless "break out!" signal, she had torn herself free from shell. An impulse to climb up had urged her out of the sandy nest. Go to water had sent brothers and sisters scurrying. But for her, this one order had been blotted out by the rifle bullet. After spinning in air and splashing in water, a new signal seemed waiting there, commanding, "Dive!" And she pedaled down to muck made of decayed leaves, lily roots, and rotted wood. Then a dig! And her tiny front feet flew. At this haste, born of ancient fears, was automatic but necessary. A sleek pickerel, lazily cruising, had heard. the other small turtles slipping silently into the lake. When this last one splashed, he wheeled and charged, yet he came from a mud cloud with nothing, angrily flapping his great wide gills to rid them of sand and woody particles. He found nothing of 36 new turtles, all obeying a secret: stay hidden. The egg yolk left when the baby hatches is called a food sack. It is his way on land. But in water he does not mind. Any deep pan can be in a turtle tank. Pet turtles should have clean water. They eat insects, worms, and meat. Snappers can snooze on the sand pile. Terrapin likes sun, and all turtles like shady places for a good rest. The big fish did not return. In a few days, the little snapper felt no more pain. An Indian boy found her floating under a lily pad. He carefully held her by the tail. "Whoa!" he laughed. "Caught you, papoose. Plenty snapper, too. Huh, one leg gone. A nick in its shell. Somebody shoots baby snappers. Think he is big hunter, but I hate to be him when the forest ranger catches him shooting in the Itasca State Park. You see, Turtle, my friends the rangers, they explain things me. I see wonderful things in the woods, but plenty I don't understand. Like that sack on your bottom shell. I ask him, why do baby turtles bulge out? And my friend says, sack of food. It feeds them inside the eggs. When they hatch, it's a food pack. I laugh. Food pack on the stomach? I carry mine on my back. And they say, sure. And you stop to camp, make fire, fix food, cook it, all before you eat. But when baby turtles get hungry, up comes food direct. Supply lasts for days, then empty sack drops off. Ah, I asked about breathing. I said, turtles can't breathe underwater like fish, but snappers stay down for hours. Me, I feel my ribs, my dog's ribs, my horse ribs. Ribs pump lungs up and down, so we breathe. When I find white old bones of turtle shells, I see the top shell is ribs, but grown solid to it like rafters under a roof. And the ranger says, sure, turtles can't pump their ribs, but their shoulder bones and hip bones are still loose. So those pump their big lungs. A few breaths at the surface keeps them for hours or days. And buried in mud all winter, they don't breathe. But you, little turtle, you won't be breathing long. Something will eat you. Can't swim fast, only 3 baby legs. Here, stay in this old can till I get back. The boy disappeared in brush. He returned with a battered old berry basket and a piece of mat from a deserted Indian camp. With a rock, he sank the basket near shore, its top above the surface, and covered the bottom with muck and old leaves. He bent lily pads to float inside the basket. Inside this cave, he slid the small snapper, saying, how you like a private lake? This old mat makes a lid. I tie it on the cover with water lace. Now big fish or that crow up there can't get you. I'll come again. There's a picture of Mid of the Mississippi. Chapter 2.